Top officials of the President Bola Tinubu's cabinet have held an emergency meeting over the planned End Bad Governance protests across the nation. And more worries about the state of the economy. Tonight we speak to a renowned political economist on possible way out of the present economic woes. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale here in Abuja. Tonight, we're going to dig deep into what the APC says it will do. Because, look, there are those who will say, judge me by what I promise that I will do to you. That is perhaps one of the templates that you operate with when you are in politics. Judge me by what I say. Don't judge me by what I do not promise. Well, is the APC being judged by what it says it will do and promise to do at the campaign? Is it too early to judge them? Is it too early to go to the street? Is it right for citizens to ask for one thing? Is the hardship on Nigerians? This seems to be some of the debate that has been going on. The federal government has been pleading to not go on this protest. And the protesters seem to be adamant. And they will go on the protest to end bad governance in Nigeria. We'll be hearing officially from the APC tonight on the program. And of course, on the flip side, we'll be hearing insight on how to deal with this economic hardship. Stagflation, that's what some experts will call it. An incredible rate of inflation spiraling. That's how some other people look at it, and they say it's dangerous for our economy. Now, how do we get out of these quagmire issues around that? We'll be getting solutions tonight on the program. So stick around with me, get your seat, and let's get started. We'll begin with giving you an update from what happened today at the presidential villa. There are visitors to the president today amidst all of these stories on protest. It appears we might be seeing more and more defections into the camp of the All Progressives Congress APC, this time by a former spokesperson of the Atiku campaign organization, the 2023 presidential election, Daniel Buwala, who visited President Bola Tinubu today at the presidential villa in Abuja. He has criticized the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar for supporting the proposed nationwide process. He says that the planned protest was not necessary, describing the intended protest as politically motivated. Take a listen to him.
We believe that that there is, to a large extent, the element of politics. My belief that it even transcends the country. There would have been foreign interest, but taking advantage of the poor political climate, because the fact of hunger and suffering, we know that everybody in Nigeria acknowledges that there is suffering, and the suffering did not start last year. We've been dealing with that issue, of suffering, lack of employment. We're talking about entrepreneurship. Virtually every aspect of economy and security is what we have always been pushing the envelope and see how we can attain a better place. But suddenly, the conversation, if you see the mainstream and the social media, is all about they want to bring the government down. President Bola Tinubu must resign. Once you hear that kind of talk and language, then you don't need somebody to interpret that there is a political connotation.
It does look like the former ally of Atiku Abubakar is fast becoming a very favorite of the president, Bola Tinubu. Yeah, he is now signaling that he is officially going to move from the PDP to the APC. Let me allow you to listen to Daniel Buwala on his planned move officially to the ruling APC.
The last time I was here, I was still in PDP. I have officially left PDP, and I'm making plans to join APC. And the intention is just like somebody who is planning his wedding. You don't just wake up one morning and go to the church. You have to do a committee of friends. You have to notify relatives and well-wishers so that they will be there to grace the occasion. So, yes, I'm on my way to APC, and that is where I have always belonged.
All right. Yeah. It looks like he's going back home. From a soon-to-come defection to one that has been consummated. a former secretary to the government of the Federation, and a former Senate President, Senator Paz, has met with President Tinubu to formally get his defection status to the APC affirmed. He met the president alongside governors of Imo State and Ebonyi. After the meeting, the governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, speaks on the planned protest.
I think it is a wrong time for anybody to do any protest, because the implication of doing that, if care is not taken, is that it may be hijacked, like the NSAS experience, where criminals now hijacked and innocently conceived agitation by young Nigerians. So this is another kind of temptation that I think too, that those behind the protest, because they have not been able to come out openly to say they are behind it, there is something that is a motive that is yet to be unraveled. So I think that we are not in support of the protest. We are not going to support any protest that has no programs, that is not discussed, that nobody knows what the problems are. Okay, if you are protesting, what do you want government to do? Because the reason for protest is that they want an issue to be addressed. What are the issues? So in my view, I think there is no need to overheat the polity.
All right, and as Governor of Imo said, Senator Hope Uzodinma, when he visited the president alongside Governor of Ebonyi and the new member of the APC, Senator Ayim Payosai. Well, I will serve you perhaps a conversation that may not be comfortable, because my next guest is one that we hardly agree, because in his own way of addressing the issue as a lawyer, you know him, highly controversial. He's the National Secretary of the APC, and some of the issues in the front banner are issues that will agitate the minds of a lot of Nigerians and may not make the APC comfortable. We may not have a comfortable conversation tonight. Get ready for that. But let's check out some of your political roundup stories.
The Minister of State for Youth Development, Mr. Ayodele Olawande, is appealing to Nigerian youth to engage the process of governance and demand accountability to see the changes they desire. Mr. Olawande made the plea during a youth-focused dialogue on anti-corruption organized by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in Abuja.
What makes it difficult for us, for this generation, to come out boldly, not with augury, not with noise making, but strategic thinking of how to create impact and how to turn this around.
The National Working Committee of the Labour Party is accusing the Nigerian Labour Congress and some federal lawmakers elected on the party's platform of fueling crisis in the party with the sole objective of demarketing Mr. Peter Obi ahead of 2027. Labour Party National Legal Advisor Mr. Kehinde Edun told journalists at a news conference in Abuja that the NLC and some of the elected lawmakers on the Labour Party's platform are on the payroll of some politicians to destroy the party.
For which the NLC and its cronies have been paid is to create a semblance of crisis, a semblance of division in the party. They are on the payroll of our political opponents to demarcate our party.
One of the founders of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Mr. Chekwas Okorie, says he is willing to serve as the chairman of the board of trustees of the party in the Edozie Njoku-led group. Mr. Okorie says his recognition as the party's BOT chairman is due to his efforts in ensuring stability and peace building, just as he says efforts are ongoing to reconcile all aggrieved members of the party. The governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the September 21 governorship election, Mr. Asue Ighodalo, says he has faith in Nigeria's justice system, even as the police are yet to bring to book the perpetrators of last Thursday's shooting at Airport Road in Benin City. Mr. Ighodalo said this in his campaign office in Benin City, the Edo State capital, shortly after a meeting with a delegation from the European Union. Mr. Ighodalo says the discussions with the EU team centered on preparations towards the Edo governorship election, which according to him is very much on course.
All of you saw the TV footage, saw the people that were carrying AK-47s, pump action, They know them. It's clear. It's evidence in plain sight. So, that some of those people are still walking the streets amazes me.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right on the program. So top members of the President Bola Tinubu cabinet today met in Abuja to brainstorm on the planned protest. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhuru Badu, met with ministers of a planned nationwide protest against economic hardship by Nigerian youth. The meeting was convened behind closed doors and has all the over 40 ministers in the president's cabinet in attendance. Well, it was the Minister of Information who spoke similar to what he has been saying about some Nigerians who plan to protest and them shelving that planned protest. Well, let's get some insight on what this means altogether. The worry in the APC camp and in the government over this. I'm being joined tonight by the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Senator Ajibala Basiru. He's live with us here in our Abuja. So thanks so much, Senator, for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, Sean.
Thank you so much indeed. Let's begin. It's a tough period for Nigerians. You agree, isn't it?
It's a tough period for every citizen of the world, not only Nigeria. And I know you know that.
Can you contextualize that?
I can contextualize. As I speak today, when you go and check the cost of living crisis, it be definitely not only Nigeria, not only Africa, but even advanced capitalist economies. And what are the causes for this? You will know that the production globally has not even resumed back to the level it was before COVID-19. What happened with COVID-19 pandemic was practically a shutdown of global economy for a period of 2 years. And shortly after that, you have the Ukrainian war, which, of course, affected grain supply and some other essential supply, not only to Europe, but to other parts of the world. Then follow on the back of that was also the crisis in the Middle East. So when you look at what is happening in the world, it's not localized in Nigeria, it's not localized in Africa, but it's a global change that all of us as statesmen, as politicians, we must confront with patriotism and with a clear sense of direction as to the fact that it is necessary for us to galvanize our economy, ensure that production and infrastructure goes to the level to be able to let us deliver on the welfare and security of our people.
As much as, one would like to reason, because we need to put a sense of reason into all of this matter and look at the perspective, because it is not an issue of villain versus the hero in this matter. There's no one that is looking out to vilify the government or the ruling APC. I think we are looking for a solution. Global economic indicators or situation might be, on one hand, a contributor to what we are experiencing locally. But let's deal with the local economy and some of the decisions of this government. It might be highly incorrect for you to blame global economic situation on the economic situation of Nigeria. Don't you agree?
Can you, in the globalized economy, insulate what happened in any country or any corner of the world from what happened globally? We are now in a globalized economy, but that is not to say that we will not also localize what we are doing within the context of our economy to advance the economic and well-being of our people. We are not saying that we are resting on us, and we are saying that we are helpless in tackling these economic challenges. So the question I expected you to ask is, what is our government, the government of APC led by Senator Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, doing in terms of being able to address the challenges of the economy? And if you ask me that question, I would say that since assumption of office,
Since I've not asked you that question, just pause a moment. I'm the one that's moderating. So if you allow me to ask a question, like I said, it might not be a comfortable one, but we are looking for a solution. You are the national secretary of your party. You understand the ideology of your party. You understand what your party promised. You are one of those who convinced Nigerians that the APC is a better alternative for Nigerians. But if you're going into the local indices, and we can go there, and one we wonder that the Yorubas will say, if you cannot make me better, leave me where you left me. The question is, How were the indicators before your government of the APC came into force about a year ago? What are the indicators? What were they saying? The GDP figures, the inflation figures, the food inflation, unemployment rate. The differences between 1 year ago and now. How would you explain to Nigerians who are watching tonight that the differences that we have seen in almost double in the numbers of those indicators are defendable by your government or your party?
You see, I'm a student of logic, and of course, I will not want to engage in what is called fallacy of hasty generalization. I would rather want us to take specifics. You can't just say all indices are doubled. I'm not oblivious of commentators that just come here and throw up figures that is not based on statistics. Let us start with the GDP. I know a commentator, a defeated presidential candidate, is throwing figures based on the 2014, rebasing of the GDP.
Who is the person?
I won't mention his name. If you don't know, he's one of the people that lost the election and went to tribunal. I don't, but I know that he's been banditing some funny figures around the GDP of the country. The last time our GDP was rebased was in 2014. We are in 2024. And of course, naturally, the basis of GDP should be done on the basis of 5-year period. Now we're in 10 years. I'm aware that MBS is currently working on analyzing and rebasing our GDP. And when the figures come out, then you cannot be talking of a correct figure that you can be talking about. You cannot be banditing figures that was based on 2014 circumstances and then use it as a parameter to do so. Then when you're talking of inflation, on a month-by-month basis, is what you judge inflation. You cannot just say inflation is going. And I know that in the past 4 months, inflation trend in Nigeria slowed down by the data available from the National Bureau of Statistics. So when you cannot just talk parameters being done, then question is this, that you must also know that the government of APC, the government of Asiwaju Bola is a reformist government. We are addressing some fundamental dysfunctionality in the Nigerian economy. One, we are addressing the problem with a subsidized foreign exchange system that has made Nigeria not to be competitive in the global economy. We are addressing the total heist and dysfunctionality that subsidy regime has brought to the energy sector in our country. We are also tackling the age-long challenges of infrastructure deficiency that the president and our government is investing seriously in infrastructure to be able to galvanize and be able to deal with economy. And in terms of our promises, in the area of agriculture, we know that food security is very key to be able to address economic challenges that we are facing in the country. As I speak today, I can speak to certain figures of what our government has done in that very vital sector of our economy. As at today, not less than 118,857 hectares of wheat in 15 states have been cultivated. And this, we are also given support in this regard, had led to no less than 107,429 farmers who are engaged in the area of wheat. Of course, 209 billion in the agriculture sector alone have been injected into the economy. And of course, the question of even the livestock management is being addressed by the implementation of the livestock development policy. In the area of infrastructure, you are aware that the government is tackling headlong not only infrastructure challenges we have in the capital, but all over the country. In the health sector, the primary health system, active collaboration to be able to address the health challenges of the people is being done by this government. And of course, in the education, the student education loan scheme promise, of course, has been put in place and also is being activated. So we rather speak to specifics as to what the present administration is doing to be able to tackle some of the challenges inherited and some of the challenges that naturally every society will face from time to time. Education is key. We are not resting on our oars in being able to address that. Health sector is very key. Agriculture and food production, with a view to having food security, is being addressed holistically by administration. Of course, you cannot have an economy that you don't address this functionality that will be able to aid the macroeconomic stability of the country. And these are part of the deliverables that the present administration is working upon. So it's not just about coming up and say, painting a gloomy picture. Yes, I'm very aware that when you have a reformist administration there will be challenges. And of course, there are challenges. But that is not because efforts are not being made to address those challenges. And then at the end of the day, if those challenges are not presently tackled now, then of course we are preparing for doomsday. And that will never come under the watch of our party and the watch of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Facts are sacred, isn't it?
Yes.
You agree? And let's stick to the fact. Let's say on inflation and food inflation. Those are two issues, because if I take you to any other of those, we don't have the time to be able to espouse on those issues. Let me take you to Bola Tinubu assuming office in May 29, 2023. You know what the figure is. You remember?
I know. That's the figure. You are national television.
Yes, inflation is about 22% or 23% before the president got into office. Inflation, as of now, it grew to about 33.95%.
Yes.
So how do you explain that?
I expect you to also tell us at what point did inflation get to 33.5%, and what has been the flow of inflation in the past 4 or 5 months. You can't just pick up a figure and just throw it a question,
because you have said that we should stay on the facts and the figures. Course. And that's what we're saying. And of course, I'm asking you a straightjacket question, yes. Senator. The inflation rate was just a little above 20%, and now is over 33%.
I don't agree with that statistics.
So what is your own statistics?
I don't know, but I don't know.
But if you don't know, why are you disagreeing? I'm telling you facts on your national television.
What is your source of inflation? You can't just
prove. It is the MBS. MBS whose salaries are being paid by the government.
Of course. MBS did not give it.
So you do not agree also that the inflation rate has risen dramatically from a year ago up until now?
I didn't agree. I know there are inflation challenges, but it's not up to that level.
Up until 33%?
Yes.
What is the present inflation rate, Senator, if you don't agree?
I don't agree.
You were a lawyer, and I imagine that since you have given the parameters upon which we need to have this conversation, and I'm giving to you. So if you look at it, the Nigerian inflation figure, look at it, March 2024, 33%. May 2023, 22.41%, Senator. Look at food inflation. Food inflation in March 2024, 40.01%. May 2023, 24%. Those are the figures there. MBS figures.
I don't agree with you.
So what do you agree with?
I also know.
That is the figure.
I only know for now that yes, there are inflationary challenges, and that as a government we are tackling those inflationary challenges.
So if you do not agree with these figures, which are released officially by
you said so. You said so. That they are released officially.
These are the figures, official figures, Senator.
I don't have access to your
source. So, do you have access to the price of yam, rice, tomatoes in the market? Do you have access to those?
Per ton or per tubers?
But whatever. I mean, per Congo, like your people in Osun State will call it.
Yes.
Do you have access to it? Is it more expensive than
a year ago? Of course, it's expensive. I'm not doubting.
So why are you trying to hide under one finger?
I'm not hiding.
It's unfair to Nigerians when you are disagreeing with figures that are officially quoted by the NBC.
I don't agree with you. I've not seen it on NBC. I'm just telling you.
So you don't read the papers, or what exactly is the problem?
I can say I don't read papers.
So why don't you agree?
I don't agree. If you read please, what I'm telling you is that your figure, I don't agree with it.
It's not my figure, but it's the official figure, and I'm telling you.
It's your figure. You put it here, I don't... You have
Senator, this is going to offend the sensibilities of an average Nigerian. When you, as the national secretary of the party,
cannot admit to what I do.
The government of the day are the ones producing this figure, Senator.
I say
not channel television.
I said I'm agreeable. Get my point. I'm agreeable that there are inflationary challenges, but I don't agree with that figure that you have quoted.
And do you imagine that there seems to be some kind of failure in the manner of handling of the economy by this government?
I don't agree. And that's why I'm telling you that.
But why are things worsening, Senator?
Things are challenging. I must tell you that. Things are challenging. It's different from things are getting worse. And I told you when I was talking, we know there are challenges in the area of food security. And I've told you that one of the cardinal things that this administration is doing is to address the challenges in food security. We are putting a lot of effort in releasing food, even from reserves, into the market. That shows that we know there is a challenge. But that's different from pigeon-only me to a figure that I did not see before I come here. I cannot, on national television, admit to what I did not see. It's your say-so.
So, agree there are efforts. Anyone can jump on the treadmill in the corner of their room and run 35 kilometers, but they've not left the same spot. Effort does not mean result. We are seeing effort, but the result, the figures are saying something totally different. I'm asking you, are you imagining, just for a moment, Senator, that there seems to be some kind of failure in the handling of the economy, Senator?
I don't agree. It's not true.
You don't think that the nation is rating and judging your government, that it has failed in that regard?
Our country, the country is not failing. And what you are saying...
I'm saying the economy, I'm saying the economy is failing.
The economy is challenged.
All the indicators are in the red, Senator.
The economy is challenged, does not mean that the economy is failing. And that's the truth about it. And I'm telling you that we are a reform government. I told you effort we are taking in trying to undo the problem we have in the area of economy, in terms of macroeconomic challenges that we have, in tackling the dysfunctionality, tackling the problem of food security, tackling the challenge we have in education.
Is the government willing to take a new direction?
Please, can you tell us what are the new directions?
If you throw, I mean, you campaign for it.
No, yes, we are telling you what we are doing. You are talking about new direction. Tell us what you are doing that is wrong.
You should tell Nigerians. I mean, because
I've told you what you are doing. And if you can read what we are doing.
You said it, that this what you are doing doesn't mean that it's working.
It is going to work, and it's working.
How much more can Nigerians wait?
It's easier for you to sit down and play a doomsday scenario for the people. It's easier for you to make criticism, but it is not as easier for you to take the bull by the horn and say this is the pathway to the progress that we have known. What we are doing is to say, yes, we have challenges. I'm not saying we don't have challenges. We have challenges in the area of employment. We have challenges in the area of food security. We have challenges in the area of security. But it is not without effort. We are making effort. And even the figures, I mean, you are giving, assuming without considering that it's even true, it's not static. Some of the effort
just assuming that it is true.
Assuming without considering.
Let me ask Nigerians, whatever. What is your Twitter handle? I'll let them to give you, if you don't agree with the NBS figure, wherever you may be in any part of Nigeria, tweet at me and Senator Ajibola Basiru the price of commodities, the price of food in your area. Maybe Senator will be aware.
I'm not saying you are getting the point wrong. I'm not saying
offensive to
it's offensive to me. What you are also saying is very offensive of twisting what I'm saying. It's very offensive. What I'm telling you is that what you have said in terms of statistics is different from. I'm not saying food prices are not high. And I told you that we are making intervention to address food security. If you don't have problem,
are those working? Are those efforts?
They are working. They are working.
Why are the figures saying something totally different? We are in an age of data, Senator.
Yes, I'm telling you, they are working. So what they are saying is that government pack up, do nothing to address problem of food security. No, we're in planting season now. We are in planting season now. We are planting season now. You see, if you say our effort is not done, it's not just to say our effort has not done. I've told you what we have done. We have talked of agricultural inputs. We have talked of cultivation of wheat. We have talked of insemination of livestock. We have talked of livestock development, program. We have talked of giving farm input, to people. We have talked of irrigation farming.
So you're asking Nigerians to wait more.
Of course, if you start all
you need to beg them. You need to plead with Nigerians.
Of course, I've said that's what I started in my opening remark. That we know there's a challenge. But that does not mean you would throw any figure at me.
I'm not throwing any figure.
What I'm telling you is that we know there are challenges. We know there are challenges in the area of food security. We know there are challenges in the area of employment, and the government is doing as much as possible trying to address that. And of course, our solutions cannot just be magical. It will be a process. If you start working on addressing food security, it's on a single day that you plant and those things will grow.
So, you need to plead to the sensibilities of Nigeria because you're a leader of the APC. If your party is doing something and it doesn't look like Nigerians are feeling the effect of it yet, because those who are going on the streets to protest, the government is saying don't protest, but they say they are hungry. They say there's bad governance.
Please, on that protest, it is not about bad governance. Because when you talk about bad governance, there are so many parameters that you look into it. Then I don't know whether you have seen the charter of demands of the so-called people that want to protest. The bulk of their demands are political demands, they are not economic demands.
How do you,
I have it, I can give it to you.
No, speak to it.
I have it, yeah, this
which of these you don't
This one, I saw this one, and I begin to read it out. What are the economic demands that are there? What are the economic demands? This is what they see. That's why I take.
So you think that the intentions are not right?
They are not. They start reading it out. They say we should scrap the 1999 constitution and replace with a people-made constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria through sovereign national conference, immediately followed by a national referendum. Is that an economic demand? I'm just asking. then that you should toss the Senate arm of the Nigerian legislative system away, keep the House of Rep, and make lawmaking part-time endeavor. Is that an economic demand? Then the one about minimum wage. Just last week, the president addressed the question of minimum wage by coming up with 70,000 minimum wage that even the labor leaders applauded. Then they said Nigeria, the country should invest in education. We are doing that already. The student loan framework has come. They release Masin Nnamdi Kanu. Is that an economic demand? Diaspora voting. Is that an economic demand? Sacking of judges. Is that an economic demand? So you look at what they have brought out as their own charter of demand and separate it from the legitimate aspirations and yearnings of Nigerians for better living conditions that our government is addressing.
Are you worried that your party seems to be unpopular?
Our party is not unpopular.
No, I'm asking, just a moment.
On your program, you saw that people are even coming to our party.
Senator, if I may land on the question. Do you imagine for a moment that your party is rather looking unpopular if people, agitations like this, and your government of the APC is just about a year into his office, and they are already questioning the capacity of the government to deliver on the yearnings of the people?
And I'm telling you, if it's about the protest, this is their charter of demand. This has nothing to do with governance. It's not to do with...
So where do we go from here?
It doesn't have to do with legitimate...
The promises of your party...
I'm telling you that...
And the way forward for Nigeria.
So let us separate two things.
So you're saying that they should not go to the streets?
Our demands, our government, we promise economic development. We promise security. We promise an inclusive government. We promise improvements in the health sector. We promise in the area of education. And I'm saying that our government, we are doing so much in terms of addressing those things that we promise Nigerian people. So you must separate political agitation, which is politically motivated, but from genuine aspiration of the man on the street, who is concerned about the food on his table, which I said our government is addressing. Senator. From those people who have political, acts to grant. And when you look at their charter of demand, which I have it here, they set it around.
But as a lawyer, you know they have rights to protest, isn't it?
Of course, you have right to protest, but then you also protest on basis what's even realizable from protest. How do you scrap the constitution of a country by way of protest? Is that a legitimate way? There's a difference between protest and revolution. A revolution seeks to overthrow an existing legal regime.
Is it what they are asking for?
Of course, when you say the 1999 constitution should be scrapped, Section 1 of the constitution says that the Nigeria should be governed by the 1999 constitution.
Just a moment.
That's revolution.
Senator, let's take a pause. We'll take a break, everyone. But when we come back, more on the Nigerian economy, the state of the nation, and perhaps whatever you are feeling as an average citizen is what we are discussing. We'll be right back, everyone, to talk more.
I'm a scholarship student of Philmont University. I was uncertain when I first arrived, but Philmont University welcomed me with open arms.
Hi, I'm Maya, a law student at Philmont University. From day one, the law program has challenged me. Professors here push us to think critically and argue persuasively.
The hands-on learning experience is amazing. Philmont is where I belong.
Philmont University, where your story begins.
See how sweet they like beans and rice. And the people, I will never leave your side. I will never ever, I dedicate my time. Forever. Time to you, my people. Even if the road be rough, I know mine. 'Cause together we shall stand.
My people, make we all come out on election day and vote Olumide Osaigbavo Akpata, Una guy, as governor of Edo State, he ready to change our story and bring better life for we and our Pikin them. Vote Labour Party, the party for Papa, Mama and Pikin. Make we vote well, oh. Oludi, confirm. Now you be our guy. Labour Party, forward ever.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of the family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
It is new, it is unique and of international standard. Maduka University. Maduka University, a modern university of international standard with modern facilities for learning, committed to training entrepreneurs across different fields of human endeavor, offers admission to students in different courses such as law, accounting, medical lab science,
cyber security, mechatronics,
mass communication, nursing, pharmacy, ICT, computer engineering, civil engineering, JUBE program, and a lot more. Maduka University is located in an environment of serenity, safety, and security at Ekwebe, Nsukka, Enugu State. For more inquiry, visit our website, madukauniversity.edu.ng, or call 0805-509-1802 or 0915-789-3107. Maduka University, the place for the transformation you seek.
In the last decade or so, the impact and importance of natural gas has increased substantially. Natural gas is playing a more prominent role. It will begin to replace petroleum as the fuel of choice as we continue to consider the environmental impact of liquid fuel. And this book, written by me, is one of the resources you'd find to understand the sector. You may want to understand how to conduct due diligence exercises, the what, the why, and the how of energy transactions. You want to understand how the gas transmission network code works? You need this text. This text is written by me, Ayodele Oni, and I have nearly 20 years of experience advising and investing in the energy sector.
So much, everyone, for staying with us. Well, facts are sacred, isn't it? That's what they say. Senator Ajibala Basru will not agree with the figures from the MBS. Of course, I would love him to give us his own figures anyways, but the Nigeria's inflation figures reached a new high, hitting 34.19% for June 2024. According to the latest data coming from the National Bureau of Statistics, this is an increase of 0.24 percentage points when compared to the inflation figure for May 2024 released by the MBS. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria has again raised the monetary policy rate, which measures interest rates by 50 basis points, which was from 26.25% to 26.75% amid soaring inflation and skyrocketing food prices. Many Nigerians are groaning over the prices of commodities and biting state of the economy. Tonight, I'm also being joined on the program by a renowned political economist, Professor Utomi, who joins us from Onitsha virtually. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us tonight.
Great pleasure, Shehu.
I know you are one of those who are supporting the planned protest. Are you going to be part of it? Are you going to join them on the street, though?
Excuse me?
Are you supporting the planned protest?
Have you joined people who fabricate rumors? You want me to add you to my lawsuit?
Prof, are you part of the protest or not?
How can I be part of a protest? Nobody called me to tell me there was a protest going on. I had not heard of the protest until I was telling somebody on the phone that I'm on my way to Nigeria, a few days ago. And the person said, I hope you'll not be trapped by protest. I said, which protest? He said, the one that will take place in August. I said, I didn't know about protest too. Only
but you've been part of protests in the past, Prof. And I imagine that you probably will be part of this one too.
I've been protesting. Protests are very important things to do to get the attention of people who are not listening.
But is this government listening, though, from what you have observed?
I'm living across the big pond, far away from here. I don't know who is listening or not listening. All I know is that the numbers that I see are not looking good. And we're dealing with the lives of millions of people. It is not a joke. Sometimes political actors think it is a game. It's not a game. It's the lives of people. People are hungry. People are dying. There are things that can be done. Look, it's time to even stop all this partisan badgering. We have a country that is dying that we need to fix. We are in a moral equivalence of a war, and everybody should sit down and work on this. For the last 9 months, I've been in quiet tweets and this and that, making suggestions about what can be done. Nobody's paying enough attention to what should be done. People who have ideas are offering them, but people who are more interested in transactions are dominating the conversation. I mean, Senator Bashiru just talked with you, kept talking about these are economic, no, not economic. Who cares about the economy when politics can determine the economy? Why are you separating them? If you say change the constitution, of course, one of the economic problems of Nigeria is that the cost of running the National Assembly is unreasonable. So if you cut out the National Assembly, you will have resources to use to help poor people live a better life. So how can you say that's not economic? So I think we should be honest with ourselves and just sit down as citizens and talk about a country that is going through a really horrible patch. Forget all those things that we throw up, party, this, that. Our country is in dire straits. Look, at the beginning of this year, I put out a tweet and I said, the key issue in Nigeria is how we produce our way out of this problem. We know that agriculture has been in trouble. Food production has been going down because people can't go to their farms. In fact, in one of the SBM intelligence reports from about 5 years ago, they were already pointing to the fact that there are people in agricultural areas who have actually not farmed for years. By today, most of those people don't even know how to farm anymore. That's a fundamental problem we have to deal with, that many of our traditional farmers have been prevented from farming for so long that they don't even know how to farm anymore. How do you approach that in terms of how you turn around agriculture? Next thing in January, I tweeted, I said, look, what you need to do, consider this a moral equivalence of a war. Whether it's at the state level or local government level or community level, recruit an army. I remember when I was making that statement, I was mentioning Chivaldo Ugbe, and I was struggling to remember the name of the thing that he was doing. I think it's forest rangers. I said, let's organize those forest rangers, cordon off certain areas of very productive, man them with these people, and say to people, go in and farm. Here are farm manager support systems, bringing some of our South African friends who have a great long history of this, provide farm support. Look, legumes grow in 3 months. I don't know what Senator Bashiru was talking about. Legumes, 3 months. If in March we had put out these kinds of programs, by now food will be coming out from everywhere. But in the Senate, they are more interested in playing games. They have not provided alternative policies to the government to show them. It's not enmity. to give alternative ideas. That's what democracy is about.
But Prof,
you're going to help them out.
Yeah, if I may jump in quickly, Prof. There are a few efforts here that we've seen that this government of the day, some of which Senator Basiru has also reeled out. Part of it, those who have advocated for the removal of subsidy, that is a scam. This president, in the first day in office, removed free subsidy. There are also the multiple efforts.
You miss it. You miss it because just removing subsidy is not enough. Look, subsidy, all of us, I have been saying for 20 years, we need to get rid of these things because it's distorting the economy. The price systems is being distorted. The biggest source of this distortion is NNPC. What reforms have they carried out in NNPC since they got there? I thought the first thing would be to fire all the guys in NNPC and begin to rebuild it. People who have been paying people to run a refinery that does not exist for 12, 15 years. Are those managers? People who have said that we are consuming 6 times the level that any normal statistical projection will show you Nigeria can consume of petrol. They should all have been sacked a long time ago. I have told you on this show a remark that was made to me when I was researching the book Managing Uncertainty back in the 90s. I was interviewing an immediate past group managing director of NNPC. And I said to him, should we privatize NNPC? And he looked at me kind of coyly. I said, is it not privatized already? I said, what do you mean? NNPC has been long privatized. The problem is that those who own it did not pay for it. It's in my book. It's not a story. NNPC group managing director said that. And we get to power, we know that is a major sort of distortion. We're talking about removing subsidy and we're not touching NNPC. We cannot be considered to have a full grasp of what we're dealing with. So you maintain all the costs that are problematic with the nature of the structure and operation of NNPC. You maintain all the problematic challenges around fuel supply, and you say you remove subsidy. Hey, it will hit you.
So,
First of all, you're going to remove subsidy. Hold on, Shehu, let me educate you a little. Shehu, you don't let people tell you so that you can learn. You see, when you want to do that kind of thing, you begin by saying, my people, my country, we've got these problems. This is the source of where the problem came from. Together we can fix it. On my part, I, as your leader, from today, I will only go around in Toyota Corolla. Is
that what President Tinubu should have done?
Yes. Then get everybody on board and said, yes, so together we fix our country. You don't talk about removing subsidy and people are going to be suffering like crazy, and we're talking about budgets of yachts and presidential jets and motorcades of Senate presidents, and this chill is a political economy. Don't anybody tell you this is not economics. Hey, that's why
Prof,
I called myself what I called myself.
Yeah, Prof, you're a political economist and a renowned one. You have been on the ground for far too long that a lot of people need to listen to you. Perhaps Senator Basiru can take a few things and take it to his political party. Perhaps this government also can learn 1 or 2 things from your experience and your knowledge. Can you say, because Senator Basiru told us earlier, that their government and the party are doing almost everything possible to fix this economy. The question is, are we in the right direction? Are we headed the right way? If we are not, can we take a U-turn?
Let me give you a simple example. A few weeks ago, I heard this story about how the government was going to massively import food to take care of people who are hungry. And my first reaction was, oh my God, oh my God. Because of a very simple thing. I have told you already that those who are farmers, there are many of them who don't know how to farm anymore because they've not been farming for 10 or more years. So we should be thinking, how do we retrain them to begin to farm? And then we say, oh, we're going to bring in food. What will happen is that everybody who is involved in agriculture will stop in that area. You don't earn enough to keep bringing in food to keep these people. it will take you a couple of years to get things going. So what you needed to do was what I said earlier in January: create these protection areas, begin to reteach people how to farm, do everything to make it keep going. Yeah, if there are gaps you can fill them. But don't say they're going to massively bring in food. When I said it, people say, but Utomi has come again. Thank God, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina repeated exactly what I said. He was agriculture minister, president of African Development Bank. Hey, there's enough intelligence in Nigeria and in Nigerians around the world for us not to be making these kinds of mistakes that are completely avoidable.
Let me show you, and perhaps I would love Senator Bashiru to also respond to this. This is what Atiku Abubakar has said about the protest. And he's saying that there are a lot of people who are behind the protests in the past, 2012, and other protests. And he was actually questioning some of the issues raised by the government of the day and some political actors on the issue of some of the decision to say do not protest. And he said, for the avoidance of doubt, the rights of citizens to protest are enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution and affirmed by our court. Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution, as altered, unequivocally guarantees a right to peaceful assembly and association. Chasing shadows and contriving purported persons behind the planned protest is an exercise in futility when it is obvious that Nigerians, including supporters of Tinubu and the ruling APC, are caught up in the anger, and hopelessness brought about by the incompetence and cluelessness of the government. It is highly ironic that those who now seek to stifle these rights by themselves leading protests in 2012. A responsible government must ensure a safe and secure environment for citizens to exercise their constitutionally guaranteed rights to peaceful protest. Any attempt to suppress these rights is not only unconstitutional, but a direct affront to our democracy. Prof, I'd like you to quickly comment on this position. What do you make of those who are planning to go on the street? Perhaps the agenda charter of demands read by Senator Bashiru is totally different from some of the charter of demands that we are also seeing, which relates to the issue of the economy. But Prof, let me get a quick reaction from you on this protest.
There is nothing that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has said in that piece that I would not have written. So I don't know what kind of comment I would make about it. I was starting to say to you earlier in the conversation before we got cut off that, look, what is democracy? The ultimate philosopher of modernity and democracy is the German Jürgen Habermas. And Habermas essentially describes modernity and democracy at a point of convergence, the nexus of rational public conversation, where freedom of expression creates marketplaces of ideas which lead to people adjusting their understanding of issues such that you can make progress. I think that it is a tragic thing for our country that citizens are trying to express themselves and we are considering it, what's the word that has been used? Insurrection. Insurrection by who? For who? Does the country belong to some people? It belongs to all of them. And their voices need to be heard. Look, one of the things that we have been challenged the most is that the voices of our people are muted and lost. Stephen R. Covey, before he died, in writing The Eighth Habit, says that the most important habit of the 21st century will be helping people find their voice. And you, Sheung, all of you have a duty to help people find their voices, not allow fascists, intended authoritarians, and people who don't understand democracy to say to you, you cannot raise your voice because it is insurrection. Excuse me? Did I carry a gun? I just said, I don't like the way things are going.
Just for a moment, Prof.
We need to lay that ground to know what we are doing. That first one.
Yeah. Prof, give me a moment. Yeah. I'll come back to you because your closing moment or your closing statement, I would like it to be in the direction of what this government needs to do. because there are those who are thinking maybe this government is confused and do not know the right way to go. But I'd like you to close by telling us what you think could be right way. But just give me a moment. Let me allow Senator Ajoba Basiru to respond to Atiku Abubakar there. And you heard what Prof has said in respect of what is going on in the country. He does look from what Prof said, and I can infer that things are bad, and this government is not doing the right thing.
You see, as far as I'm concerned, talk is very cheap. And if I have time, I will take on some of the things that even the Prof has said, and I will see the futility of some of the things they have said. It's easier to criticize, but it is far difficult to come with a workable solution for a country that is challenged like our own. And I will take one of the issues. Before I talk about Atiku Abubakar, I expect him on the day of the protest, he should lead the protest. Nobody has stopped anybody from leading the protest. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our party, has never stifled any opposition. So I don't know where he got it from. That we're even here, and you are here, you are making criticism of our administration. Have you suffered any disability from doing that? On every radio stations, TV stations, people come with different ideas. Some of them adverse to our government. Some of us support our government. Has anybody been arrested for making criticism against our government? That is what democracy is all about. Heterogeneity of ideas. Even on this table, we have agreed, we have disagreed. So to a Prof to stomp about fascism, I don't know where he got the idea of fascism. And who is the fascist? Who is not a Democrat? We are Democrats. As you are canvassing that you want to protest, we also have the right, democratic right, to canvass that the basis of your protest has no basis. And that's what democracy is about. And that's what we are doing. We are not, I've said, we have not banned anybody from protesting. But we are saying and canvassing our own idea, this is our view, and this is why the protest should not hold. I don't think that is fascism. I also know what fascism is all about. If it's fascism, we'll not talk. We'll roll out tankers, which nobody has done. People are free to protest. But at the same time, we also are free to canvass our idea about what we are doing and why the futility of the exercise in the protest. Then now, talking about the economy, he has said farmers are no longer in the farm. And I think Prof should know that if it's about insurrection and banditry, which started during PDP administration, what percentage of the country was affected by insurrection? To say that farmers are no longer going to market, going to farm, and that they need to be trained. What is the percentage of the Nigerian population of farmers that were affected? And I've here given you statistics of what we have even done in the area of wheat alone, that we have supported 407,429 wheat farmers just within 1 year of administration. And this has led to cultivation of 118,657 hectares of wheat in 50 states of the country. So it's easier to make criticism. Prof, it's easier to say these things are going wrong, but come up with your own workable solution. And democracy is a market of ideas.
I mean, when Nigerians who voted your party and who are seeing things and feeling the pinch are responding to the policy of your government, and they're saying that things are not working, I guess
an adverse is a politician too, and his party was defeated in the general election.
Prof, let me get your final statement. You help us close the program. Just in about 60 seconds, if you may. Where do we go from here?
Look, I think what we should do, we should send politicians like the man talking to some concentration camp without fascism coming, and allow Nigerians to get together from all shades to sit down, recognize that the crisis of now is the moral equivalence of the war, and work together. Even General Gowon, as a young 32-year-old, and taking power in 66, realized where Nigeria was and brought everybody together and said, okay, let's sit down. How do we move forward? The ideas that are being put forward here, I mentioned Akin Adesina's position on the same thing that I said. It's not rocket science. Anybody who really has followed agriculture will go back to what happened in the onset of structural adjustment, and we'll see how what we're talking about happened back then. And it's not enough to say you give 120,000 farmers. It's simple. If you give them that money, the output will make prices
go to
where they should go, not number of people you give money.
Thank
it's
you
the
so
output
much.
that matters.
Yeah. Professor Utomi, renowned political economist. Thank you so much indeed for your time. And Senator Ajibola Basiru, the National Secretary of the APC. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
You didn't give me to make party shots.
No. You had your time. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.
Did you know you can access electoral information with just a click? Introducing Nigeria Elections, an inclusive artificial intelligence platform that guides citizens on Nigeria's electoral and civic landscape. Say bye to misinformation and disinformation. Visit www.nigeriaelections.ng today. Nigeria Elections, addressing democratic questions.
You can be an expert in all matches. You're an expert in statistics or people's opinions. 1xBet will help you show your expertise. Express yourself. You're the expert. You can be an expert in all matches. You're an expert in statistics or people's opinions. 1xBet will help you show your expertise. Express yourself. You're the expert.
It's nice to have you join us. You're watching News Track and Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. These are the stories and reports we're tracking for you at this time. We begin from the nation's capital, where the federal government is appealing for more time